welcome to the Wine Nirvana podcast. Wine reviews for the average wine drinker. No pretense, no snobbery, no numerical ratings. And here's our host, Stephen Hawk.
Thank you, Robin. Yes, Stephen Hawk here, your wine guru. We are joined today by Chrishon Lampley. She is a wine enthusiast, an entrepreneur, a negociant, a philanthropist, an author, and a youth mentor. Chrishon, thank you so much for taking the time to be with me today.
Oh, thank you. So excited to be here with you.
Great. You know, I mentioned you are a negociant. This is a European term that a lot of Americans may not be familiar with. So let's start out by telling us, what does a negociant do?
Sure. So the definition, easiest way to put it, I'm more of a negociant à la voir. So it is by definition a person that buys grapes and resells them as their own. That's the ugly definition, right? But to go deeper into that, it is simply I source all of my grapes from different vineyards, different areas, different regions in the world, and I finish the wine. So I do all the wine finishing. So by the time the grapes are selected, picked, to the time it hits the bottle, I have done everything when it comes to deciding exactly what the varietal is going to have, whether it be the residual sugar, whether it be the amount that it ages. Everything, I am taking part in that. And I like to loosely call myself a chemist, if you will, to just pretty much say, hey, I've dissected every part of that, and I decided exactly how the flavor profile should be to create my wine.
Yeah, to get what you want.
Yep.
Interesting. So how did you get started in the in the wine world?
It really started more on the sales and marketing side. I used to own an art gallery and bar, and in the city of Chicago. And at the time, I decided to write the wine list, and we ended up winning Chicago's Best as the best wine list. And on the flip side, I worked in distribution and sales, and I always heard the same story, whether it be the bar owner side or the sales side, that people wanted to support small batch, different, didn't want to buy the same, wine that was sold everywhere, as well as they want to support some local Midwest wineries and vineyards. So I said, okay, I'm going to take that information and I'm going to create something that everyone told me I could not do. And that's how Love Corkscrew started. It was driving, flying, researching, and pretty much pitching myself to these outlets, whether it be the vineyards, wineries, and distributors, and saying I could do it. And next thing you know, I'm federally permitted, and 9 years later, over 1 million bottles sold.
One of the questions I like to ask all of my guests is, in fact, what kind of challenges that they have faced. But I'm thinking with yourself as a young Black woman in the Euro-centric male world of wine, that you can't really recall anything along those lines. So.
Oh, that's a sarcastic laugh that I'm throwing in there. It's every single day, Stephen.
Where to start?
Oh my goodness. And trust me, this is not a woe is me story. I'm a very strong individual, and I continue and I take the no's, and there's always 10 no's, but there's always an amazing yes that follows, because I've earned my stripes. I've been in this industry a long time, 25 years now. So at the end of the day, everything that I face, I take it as a challenge, and I will always win. And that's how I function.
Just through perseverance.
That's it.
What's the one thing that you wish you'd known at the beginning that you did not?
Oh, that this industry is so expensive. It's a funny thing. I think of myself as really starting off grassroots, which I did. And again, being in that sales and marketing side, I was allotted a lot of opportunities that some might not be. And that's having I was that pitch gal. I knew how to pitch to someone. I knew how to convince them. And if I didn't have that, I don't think I would have been successful. So I will say that this is a very expensive industry. And every time I mentor people who are trying to get on my side in sales and distribution and or ownership of a winery, vineyard, custom crush. That, oh boy, it's a 3-tier system. So don't think you're going to get rich quick. Don't think because you sold tons of bottles that you're a rich individual. This is not for the light at heart, and it takes time.
Yeah, there's an old saw that says if you want to make $1 million in the wine business, start by spending $1 million.
Yep. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Man, it's not what people think. It's not as sexy as people think.
It's not the romance, is it? No,
it really isn't. There's the ugly side. There's the ugly side, and then there's the gambling side. You have to really gamble each year. You don't know what people are going to drink, why they're going to drink it, what they're going to spend on. You don't know.
Yes, because there are fads that come and go, as you well know.
Yes, and there's life.
Yeah,
there's life. Life happens, and you don't know what's going to happen. Yeah,
indeed. Yeah. So, what's your biggest challenge right now? Like, what keeps you up at night?
What keeps me up at night is the expansion. In general, as a small business owner, we work so hard, and there's so many moving parts, and we wear so many hats. And it's when you get to a point where you're outgrowing the ability to do that, where you do have to relinquish some control. That's hard. That's hard for me to say I'm going to have someone else do it, have a professional do it. That's hard because it's my baby, and nobody's going to love it like you do. So I would say the most difficult part is letting go and starting to hire people and trust that they're going to do, as good of a job as I'm going to do, which you have to manage your own expectations. So it's very difficult.
Yeah, I get that. So the flip side is, what's the favorite part of what you do?
The people. I love it. As much as I say, I'm going to contradict myself, as much as this business is, you don't know what's going to happen day to day, and those moving parts and those no's. It was so funny. My publicist said to me when I was complaining about it one day, she's like, but that's the part you love too. Like if it wasn't wackadoodle, if it wasn't, like if you knew everything was going to go right, you would not like this, would you? And I laughed at myself. So it's the adrenaline I get to get those no's and to turn them around, or to see these no's not be what you think they are. And that's life, right? When you get those no's, you're not sure where it's leading to next. And it could be something great.
Right. By just staying aware and open to things.
Yeah.
So your first label was and is Love Corkscrew. How did that get started, and how'd the name come about?
Gosh, Love Corkscrew was created off of, I'm Love Corkscrew. It was that gallery that I mentioned that I used to own. It actually shut down. We closed due to a really horrible flood. And I was in a really bad place. I wasn't sure what to do. And people still kept coming to me because we won Chicago's Best for the best wine list. They kept coming to me saying, Chrishon, you know what wine to drink. Chrishon, you know what place to go. Just like, it. I'm like, oh my God, stop bugging me. And I said to myself, let me stop. Let me get myself from under the covers and, just start doing something. So I started writing a blog, and the blog was called Love Corkscrew. And I was an awful writer, absolutely awful writer, but I had thousands of people that, would read it. So it was so funny. It went from that to me doing a radio show, and that was, turned out being quite, big. And then again, I said to myself, okay, neither one of these are making money. So I said, what am I going to do to turn this into something more, something big? So the short of the story is, I said, again, I'm going to do something that everyone told me I could not do. And that is create a wine line. And that's how Love Corkscrew was created. It was a blog called Love Corkscrew. And then it turned into a radio show. And then next thing you know, it's on shelves. So that's the short story. It took a long time to create. This is 10 years ago. So it's just turned into something bigger than me. Something bigger than me. And that's what I love about Love Corkscrew. It's not about me. And I always say, if I could affect one person to follow their dreams, then I've done my job.
There you go. So Love Corkscrew has, the current line is 8 bottlings. So how do you go about sourcing the wines?
So that started so many years ago. And it was me deciding what flavor profiles that I really enjoyed around the region. And I said, okay, again, let me drive up to these places because I know these particular vineyards carry the profiles that I like and or I know others will enjoy. So it took that and my sales skill, me convincing them that, hey, I can outsell you on your own product. And, they laughed and they said, they looked at me and were like, actually, we think you can. So it was really a funny time of just my sales skills that I have for so many years and taking that and developing relationships. And these relationships with these farmers I've had, again, over 10 years now. And then it just started expanding the growth of Love Corkscrew. I outgrew some of the vineyards that I worked with at first and just started continuously growing, learning. And now I'm even sourcing wines out of Chile. So it was a long process. Yeah, it's not what people think. It's not, I always say it's not the comparison of wedding wine, right? Where you can just put your label on wine and Joe and Vanessa's wedding, right? That's not what this is. And I think that is a myth. And a lot of people think, oh, I got a little money, I can go and start my own brand. Yeah, good luck. Good luck convincing them that you can do that, right? So it's very it's been very interesting. It's been fun. And the relationships I've grown through these years have just been absolutely amazing. They believed in Love Corkscrew before Love Corkscrew even hit the shelf.
Yeah. So you mentioned Chile. Have most of it been West Coast up until now?
Correct. Most have been Midwest and West Coast. So most have been in
Midwest
Michigan.
Also.
Yeah, okay, I have some Midwest wines. Yeah, I have some really fun Riesling, Pinot, Concord, Niagara from the Midwest. From West Coast, I did source Cabernet Sauvignon from California. And now I'm again expanding from Chile. I just sourced a Sauvignon Blanc. And I'm going to start working with Washington actually to do a Riesling as well. So the expansion it's just been so much fun, and I can really utilize my title negociant and really grab grapes from all around the world.
Yeah, which gives you tremendous flexibility, obviously.
Tremendous.
So your most recent venture is the Lampley, which is not only wines but really a whole lifestyle approach. So how did you get expanded into that?
So I look at Love Corkscrew as the wine for the consumer. It speaks to the consumer. I want fun, whimsical labels with double entendres. Not everyone could pronounce Bordeaux, Chianti, Chenin Blanc, or could care less to. Indeed, so I wanted something fun and easy for people to find in the wine aisle. The Lampley is really for me. The Lampley is for my lineage, for my heritage, and it's something that's special and true to me. I wanted the Lampley to speak to where I come from, to my family. I wanted to be extra special and something that I truly enjoy. So these are wines that I personally chose as opposed to, wines that I feel that a consumer will really enjoy, worldwide. So the Lampley was really special, very, very small batch. And the wines that I'll be picking from around all across the world. My next stop is South Africa. But right now, my demi-sec is from North Coast, from a great area in Healdsburg, California that I absolutely love. And that was just personal for me. So the Lampley means so much to me. And it's just my personal picks and it's my heart.
You mentioned the demi-sec, and I'm going to do a companion post on Wine Nirvana reviewing that wine. And I know that the Lampley, the labeling, there are, in fact, family members on the bottle, and there's a young woman on the demi-sec. And who is that?
That is my mother.
Oh,
so
okay.
That, again, everything is going to speak to my family and have different family images. And that was me just rummaging through super old photos, vintage. And the more vintage, the better. The more damaged, the more, faded, the better. And that picture was so special to me because a lot of people say, she spit me right out. We look just alike. And it was just a beautiful, elegant picture. And it just spoke to me. And it said, that's demi-sec right there. That's
there.
It. It was no question.
Yes, it was inevitable. None. There you go.
Inevitable. Yes, sir.
So how do you continue to learn and improve?
Gosh, it's trial and error. It's a lot of reading, a lot of publication, a lot of communication with different people in the industry, whether it be consulting side, whether it be distribution side. Learning things are changing. It's not the same old school of the door to door almost salesman when it comes to wine and spirits. It's a lot more digital now, right? It's social
Mm.
media now. And that's been the beauty of Love Corkscrew. We've really been able to capitalize on social media, and a lot of brands can't say the same. So I have just been really, really lucky to kind of sit in that middle. I'm an old school Generation Xer. However, I always stayed very connected to what was new and coming, and I just change. I have no issues. I'm not stubborn that way. I'm not stubborn that I have to keep everything old school. I think the only thing I'm stubborn about is a cork in the bottle, because hey, the name is Love Cork Screw, so
There you
not
go.
Love Screw Cap.
Exactly. Oh man. Well, yeah, you're obviously a restless young woman. So what does the future hold? What's next?
So much. I want Love Corkscrew to be a household name. There's a million bottles is nothing, right, compared to some of these large brands, and I have a long way to go. And so I look for Love Corkscrew to be national, everywhere in every household, just like some of the common names we know. And I have a lot of work to do, and I'm very excited to get Love Corkscrew in with everybody. Like I want it to be where Love Corkscrew is just that bottle that you always grab. It's the go-to. It's the easy wine that you want to drink at dinner. And I want the Lampley to just continue to be something that I can travel to find and source, and just look in cool places for and find. So I'm very excited.
You know, I am curious. You kind of do this to a point about making your own wine. I mean, just starting from the grapes and on. I know that you can control a lot of the process as it is now, but is that the same as making your own wine?
So yes and no. So that's one of those things where I can't actually sit there and work as a winemaker and literally go through every single process, because I'm not sitting in the vineyards, in the factories with them all the time. So no, I'm not stomping the grapes myself, right?
Right.
And that's just a fun way of saying that. However, every formula that I've controlled, it's been that flavor profile from the very beginning. So when it comes to harvest, there are going to be times where I have to fly down or drive down to change the formula, if you will, to balance it, because every year it's going to be slightly different for whatever reason, for good, bad, ugly, and indifferent reasons. So I have to do all the sugar trials, all the taste tests, and I have to make sure that it stays true to where Love Corkscrew's flavor profile was from the beginning. So am I the actual winemaker pouring and doing everything within the barrels? And no, I am not. However, I am working with them hand in hand. Like nothing goes in that bottle without my approval, without it being something that I chose. So I make all the final decisions. So I work with them, and it's been a grueling, exciting, and it's not easy. It's not what people think. It's not just me sitting there drinking flights. There's a lot more.
Right. Yes. We'll have this one, and we won't have this one. Right.
Right. And then spit out the rest. Like, yeah, no, it's not like that.
Exactly.
No. It's not like that. And it's planning too. It's a lot of pre-planning to, again, guess what people want. And that is almost impossible. So it's not easy to guess the quantities, to guess what people are going to purchase in stores. There's so much more to it. And again, so many moving parts. So again, this is not as sexy as people think it is. The end result, what's sexy to me is to see people posting on social media saying that they bought a bottle of Love Corkscrew.
Yeah, because the market is fickle. There's no doubt about it.
Boy, is it.
So what is the one common myth about a life in wine that you would want to debunk?
Gosh, there's so many myths in.
A lot to choose from, huh?
So many. I don't know where to begin, honestly, but I will say that the myth is that if you, and I think I'm going to go back to a piece that I touched on before, and that's the financing of it, that if you are a celebrity, that you can just get in the business and you'll be a success. Not true. Not true. And I've seen it happen. I've been in this industry so long, and there's been some that have been successful, don't get me wrong. But there's a lot that utilize it as just another a brand to bring onto their, well-known platform already. And a lot of us in this industry on this side who are not the A-listers, but who are just working from penny to penny and live in it, that kind of hurts our feelings every now and then, right? To think that,
Yeah,
okay, I
yeah.
got a few $1 million and okay, bloop, I have a new Sauv Blanc, I have a new, Viognier, and boom. And it's interesting to see because, at the end of the day, when somebody consumes something, no matter what the good is, they have to believe you. And it actually has to be good. So again, there's been a lot of trial and error for me. Not everyone's going to like all of Love Corkscrew, and that's okay. Wine is subjective. So what I've definitely learned is definitely don't get your feelings hurt. If someone doesn't like it, don't let it hurt your feelings. Because again, we all consume things differently. We all like what we like. And at the end of the day, there'll be 99 sommeliers with 100 different answers.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, where can our listeners find out more about Love Corkscrew and the Lampley?
So easy. I would love you all to follow me all on social. Everything from Facebook to Instagram is Love Corkscrew. There's no commas, no dots in between, just Love Corkscrew. And of course, on my website, lovecorkscrew.com, if you go to the store locator and put in your zip code, you can find where Love Corkscrew is. And of course, if it says not available in your area, please order from the website. And we ship just to almost every state.
Well, Chrishon, thank you so much for taking the time to be with me today.
Thank you. It's been so much fun.
And as usual, I'm going to sign off with this phrase from W.C. Fields, perhaps America's foremost philosopher. I'm reminded of my safari in Africa. Somebody forgot the corkscrew, and for several days we had to live on nothing but food and water.
This has been Wine Nirvana. To learn more, visit us at www.winervana.com.
This is a production of Habanero Media.